The MC, Kujo Yudo, is taken aback when Suzuno asks him to chat in an empty classroom. He thinks it might be a confession, but instead she just wants to know if his brother Ayato is free this Saturday. He's left speechless, feeling foolish for getting his hopes up once again. He inquires why she didn't just ask his brother directly, and she admits that it's too embarrassing to speak to the person she has feelings for. He's always living in the shadow of his overachieving brother, with not a single girl giving him a second glance. Talk about a sad situation. Yet when he suggests his brother is free on Saturday, her face lights up like a Christmas tree. As she walks away, her friend wonders if he's the sibling she's crushing on, while another friend notes how different he is from his superstar brother. Yuta lets out a resigned sigh, accepting the inevitable truth that Suzuno is into his brother. After all, Ayato is the golden child while he is the opposite. He's no match for his brother, yet he doesn't want to give up either. A stir in the hallway catches his attention, and he notices a girl waving at him. It's Kano-san, Suzuno's older sister and also his childhood friend, who's older. He wonders if she didn't have university today, and she replies that her class ended early, so she came to pick him up. She quickly notices that he doesn't look happy, and he gives an awkward chuckle, unable to admit that he has a crush on her younger sister. With a smile, she tells him they should head out, handing him a helmet. He asks where they're going, and she replies with a grin, they're going on a date. She promises to lift his spirits completely. Blushing, he insists he isn't feeling down, but she tells him to hop on. When he asks again where they're headed, she replies mysteriously, it's a secret. They arrive at a place, and he's taken aback. It's filled with couples, the whole atmosphere a bit too much for a high schooler like him. He suggests they go home instead, but she refuses. If there's no other choice, she teasingly asks if they should go look at underwear together. He's stunned. That's even worse. On top of that, what if Suzuno found out? She urges him along and flustered, he tells her to wait a second. Suddenly, he really wants some coffee. She smiles and says it's her treat. He can get whatever he wants. He thanks her, but once they're inside, he realizes the cafe is also full of couples. He doesn't want to go to the lingerie shop, but he also doesn't want to stay here long. The waitress comes over and asks if they're ready to order. He orders coffee, and she orders coffee too, along with a couple exclusive oversized parfait. He's stunned and asks what she just ordered. She replies she really wanted to try it, and since he was there with her, she went ahead. The parfait arrives, massive in size, and people begin glancing their way. She tells him to try some, but he refuses. Still, she feeds him a bite, and he admits it's actually good. She's glad. She then asks if he's feeling any better, and he blushes. She tells him he can have as much as he likes, and he retorts that he won't. She guesses aloud that he actually does want more, and he snaps back, was she even listening? She changes the topic, asking how he's been. He says he's doing fine but can never compare to his brother. She calls him out for always bringing up his brother and says she doesn't see him the way he sees himself. He doesn't quite get what she means. She goes on, listing the good things about him, like the time he saved her, saying he just needs more confidence. He's still puzzled when she abruptly changes the subject, praising the parfait. He asks if she's satisfied, and she says she'd been eyeing it for a while. When he asks if that was her goal all along, she admits he's not wrong. If she had told him earlier, he wouldn't have come. He sighs and says that maybe anyone would have been fine, like one of her university friends. She replies that she'd feel bad if any of them misunderstood her. He then asks if he might be misunderstood, and with a mischievous smile, she asks, did he misunderstand? With a straight face, he denies it. He's developed a resistance to things like this thanks to his brother. She gives a small, awkward smile and asks if he's ever had a girlfriend. He lies and says yes. Her expression shifts, she grabs his shoulders and glares, demanding to know what he just said. He's confused. She starts pressing for details about the so-called girlfriend, then adds that if he lied just to deceive her, she'll forgive him. He doesn't understand why she's so upset. As people around them begin to watch, he panics and admits it was a lie. She asks again, and he confirms. With a sigh of relief, she bursts out laughing. He's left confused but glad she's no longer angry. Then, out of nowhere, she tells him to prove it. He's stunned. She gestures toward his pocket, suggesting he give her his phone. She asks if what he said is true, then why won't he show her his phone? He stumbles for words, and she presses again. Stunned, he decides it's easier to just hand it over. She checks it, shoots him a sharp glare, and asks if he chats with a lot of girls. He replies he used to, occasionally, but not anymore. She asks if he doesn't need them now and says she'll delete them for him. He figures it doesn't matter. After a pause, she says it's better to move on and hands the phone back. He suddenly notices Suzuno's contact is gone. She casually mentions she deleted it too. Confused, he asks why. She explains that if he needs to talk to her sister, he can go through her. He's left speechless. With a grin, she tells him to give up. It's already done, and urges him to keep walking. Still puzzled, he asks if they're not going home. She pouts, calling this his punishment for lying. Panicked, he worries she's taking him to a girl's shop, but instead she shows him a hotel pic, inquiring what he thinks. Alarmed, he immediately refuses, demanding to know what she's thinking. She bursts out laughing, claiming she thought it would be a fun idea. They eventually arrive at a shopping mall, and he asks if they're there to buy summer clothes. She affirms it and playfully asks how she looks. Embarrassed, he blurts out that she's wearing a swimsuit. She's confused and asks if swimwear isn't considered part of summer clothing. Flustered, he explains that they're two different things. She giggles and asserts that it's his punishment. He groans and wonders aloud if there's really no way out of this. She then demands he give an honest opinion on how she looks, warning that if his response is vague, she'll get mad. He comments that the swimsuit suits her. It matches her overall vibe well. With a playful grin, she teases him, wondering if he's into black swimsuits. Flustered, he quickly denies it. She laughs, reassures him she's just joking, and thanks him for being thoughtful, adding that it makes her happy. He's left speechless as they continue shopping. The whole experience feels almost unreal. She thanks him again, declaring they're even now, and says she'll stop teasing for today. Just then, her eyes catch a photo booth nearby. Without warning, she grabs his hand and pulls him toward her. He goes along, though he's clueless about how it works. She tells him to leave it to her. As he poses with a peace sign, she suddenly hugs him, making his face go red. Laughing, she points out how hilarious he looks and declares it totally worth the trip. He grumbles, questioning whether making weird faces is really part of the appeal. She flashes a grin and explains that's exactly the charm of Japanese photo booths. He knows, but still thinks pulling silly expressions feels like a waste, especially to side someone so beautiful. Caught off guard, she blushes. Curious, she asks if that's really how he sees her. Embarrassed, he tells her to forget he said anything. She giggles and insists she won't. She'll make sure to remember. He's sure she'll use it to tease him later. Suddenly, she reaches for his phone, promising not to mess with anything this time. She sticks their photo to the back. When he asks what she's doing, her tone turns icy. She's placing it there to keep the other girls away. Removing it, she adds, isn't an option. He nods, not daring to argue. Later, she drops him off at his house. He thanks her and, despite being dragged around all day, realizes he feels much better. As he steps inside, his mom remarks that he's late. He mentions he was out with Kano-san. His older brother Ayato enters and asks if he just got home as well. Their mom casually chimes in that Yudo spent the day with her. Ayato frowns, questioning whether he's becoming a bother to Kano. Yudo denies it. His brother reminds him that she's a busy college student and doesn't have time to waste. Yudo understands the frustration. Ayato's been crushing on her for a while. Every confession ends in rejection. And since he's into Suzuno, his brother dating Kano-san might actually open the path for him. Quietly, he wishes Ayato would just be patient a little longer. Then suddenly remembers he hasn't finished his daily game missions. When he launches the app, it starts loading unusually slowly. Elsewhere, Kano stares at her screen. The tracker is working. She murmurs to herself, calling her actions awful. After all, she installed a tracking app on his phone. But it's his fault, she reasons. He lied about having a girlfriend. Now she can see where he goes, what he does. She's hopelessly, madly in love with him, and this is the only way she can hold on. At a bookstore, Yudo is quietly absorbed in a book when Kano-san approaches, greeting him with a smirk and noting how, even on weekends, he is still at the bookstore. He reminds her he's a student, and casually mentions how often they've been bumping into each other lately. She agrees, then playfully mentions the red string of fate. He scoffs. He doesn't believe in such things. Without missing a beat, she shifts gears and checks if he's free afterward. He nods, and she suggests they hit karaoke. Once inside the karaoke room, she glances at him and wonders if he's eaten yet. Curious about what he's craving, she leans a bit closer. Flustered by her sudden proximity, he stammers that fried chicken sounds good. She beams and agrees. Moments later, with a mischievous glint in her eye, she wonders aloud if it isn't thrilling to be alone together in a private room. Confused, he hesitantly questions her meaning. Teasingly, she explains that karaoke booths are well soundproofed, popular spots for couples to make out. She leans in, voice low and flirtatious, and asks if he wants to try it. His face flushes instantly, and he bolts up, announcing he's going to grab some juice. In the restroom, he stares into the mirror, calling himself pathetic. He likes Suzuno, so why is he reacting this way to Kano? Letting out a heavy sigh, he eventually heads back. She pouts the moment he returns, complaining he kept her waiting, even though she's the one who threw him off balance. They start singing, and he notes her being tone-deaf. Unaware of his thoughts, she suggests a challenge. 3 songs each, highest score wins. The loser has to grant the winner one wish. He double-checks if she's sure about the bet. With full confidence, she nods. If he wins, she promises to arrange a date with Suzuno. Fired up, he accepts, vowing to win. But to his dismay, she takes the victory. Staring at the final scores in disbelief, he grumbles that he's clearly the better singer. She grins and explains that with precise pitch and timing, you can fool the machine. Then comes her wish, an overnight trip together. He blinks, asking if she's being serious. She wonders if he's too busy. He replies that it's not about time, but about being a guy and girl alone. His mom would never approve. To his shock, she casually reveals she already got his mother's permission. Later at home, he confronts his mom, asking why she agreed without telling him. She shrugs, saying it's just a trip, and encourages him to go. He warns her to keep it from Ayato, or things could get ugly. She chuckles, amused by how serious he sounds, and remarks that Ayato must really like Kano. Still, Yudo can't shake the unease. Soon, they arrive at their destination, Hecom. He's surprised, especially since it's already dark out. Kano mentions they'll do sightseeing tomorrow and that she booked a room. He assumed everything would be sold out, but she smirks and claims it's a love hotel, before bursting into laughter. Groaning, he begs her not to mess with him like that. She eventually shows him the actual place, a regular hotel. Still, she teases again, asking if he'd prefer the other hotel after all. Flustered, he quickly refuses. Once inside, he realizes she booked a single room. He raises an eyebrow. She explains hotel rates are steep, and for his comfort, she picked one with a double bed. He offers to sleep on the floor, but she insists. He needs a proper rest. He mutters that sleeping next to her won't be restful. She tilts her head, wondering why. Embarrassed, he mumbles that even if she calls herself his big sister, she's still a girl, and he's not comfortable. Her expression softens as she asks if he sees her as a woman. He admits that he does. Smiling, she changes the subject again, mentioning the hotel has a private hot spring, one she reserved just for them. He tenses, unsure if she's being serious. She flashes him a knowing smirk. "Aren't I your big sister?" she reminds him. Of course, he wants to try the hot spring. It's Hecom after all, but there's no way he'll bathe with her. He refuses outright. She pouts, leans in closer, and quietly asks if he'll just hear her out. Then she whispers something in his ear. He freezes. It's the title of a movie he recently watched. His blood runs cold. How does she even know about that? Still grinning, she leans in again and whispers more titles. Then, with a devilish smile, threatens to tell Suzuno everything if he doesn't join her. He groans in defeat and agrees. He doesn't really have a choice. Demanding to know how she found out, she smugly reminds him, "Never lend out your phone." The realization hits. She had it before, and worse, she activated GPS tracking. Later, inside the private bath, he nervously wonders if she'll at least wear a towel. To his utter horror, she enters without one and casually apologizes for keeping him waiting. As they soak in the bathtub, Kano leans back and reminisces. It's been ages since they bathed together like this. Yudo nods in agreement. Her gaze lingers on him, prompting him to glance over and question the look she's giving him. She remarks that he's starting to look more like a man than before. He shrugs, pointing out he's 17 now. If he didn't look manly, that would be more concerning. Turning the focus to herself, she wonders aloud if she's become more feminine. When he doesn't respond, she leans closer, nudging him for an answer. He averts his gaze and remains silent. With a teasing glint, she warns that chances like this don't come often. He reminds her she mentioned next time. Leaning in, she whispers into his ear that she remembers and wonders if he's looking forward to it. His face turns scarlet, and he bolts upright, climbing out of the bath. She follows, half laughing, half annoyed, asking where he thinks he's going without her. He mutters something about feeling dizzy. She arches a brow. He just got in. He insists his body's delicate and sensitive. Undeterred, she urges him to stay longer, but he resists. Pouting, she clings to him from behind. He demands she let go, but she holds tighter. In the struggle, they lose their footing and slip. His towel loosens, the fall doesn't hurt, but then he realizes what just happened. He's landed right on top of her. Frozen in place, he stares as she blushes and murmurs that he's bolder than he looks. Mortified, he scrambles to his feet, apologizes in a frenzy, and rushes out of the bath. This is bad. Not only did he see everything, she saw him. She probably thinks he's disgusting. How is he ever supposed to face her again? The bathroom door creaks open. He drops to his knees without thinking. She steps in and raises a brow, wondering what he's doing. He bows his head, trying to apologize again. She brushes it off. No big deal. He insists it was gross, something no one should have seen. But she assures him it's a normal reaction. In fact, she admits she was relieved. At least now she knows he's a healthy boy. With a smile, she suggests they get on with their usual bedtime routine. He blinks, unsure what she means. She clarifies, late-night love talk. Lying on the bed beside her, he marvels at her emotional composure. She nudges him to open up. Who's his crush? He mutters that she already knows. Not satisfied, she wants the details. He groans, calling it dull with just the two of them. But she disagrees. Who knows? He might even learn something juicy about Suzuno. Curiosity wins out. He plays along. She starts with the basics. What does he like about her sister? He replies that Suzuno's always kind to everyone. Kano gives a dry chuckle, pointing out that, in her eyes, Suzuno's just putting on a front, scared of being disliked. He frowns, wondering if she's being too harsh on her own sister. She admits he might be right. Before he can dig deeper, she steers the conversation forward, prompting him to continue. As he goes on, it hits him. Kano didn't go home because the two sisters had a fight. He shifts the spotlight, saying it's enough about him. Now it's her turn. He brings up Ayato. His brother has confessed multiple times. Why keep rejecting him? Her reply is cool and immediate. Ayato just isn't her type. He gapes. Ayato, the guy everyone likes, isn't her type? She doubles down. There's absolutely no way she'd date him. Not in this lifetime. That's when it hits Yudo. His whole plan is in ruins. Then, almost offhandedly, she mentions there's already someone she likes. His ears perk up. He can't help but ask what kind of guy he is. She notices how eager he looks. Makes sense. His brother just got rejected. Whoever this person is must be something else. With a soft smile, she declares it a secret, but adds that if she hadn't met this person, she wouldn't be who she is now. And even if he already has feelings for someone else, she's not giving up. She'll make him hers, no matter what. She swears she absolutely will, and when their eyes meet, he realizes she's not bluffing. Her expression is unwavering. She's completely serious. Declaring it's time to sleep, she heads to bed. Yudo stiffens, heart racing, unsure what wild stunt she's planning next. Without warning, she wraps her arms around him. His face lights up in a deep blush. She calmly remarks that she can't sleep without a body pillow. He can barely process it, especially once her leg brushes against his. Eventually, she dozes off, but he lies there wide awake, frozen in disbelief. By morning, she stretches with a satisfied sigh, saying she slept great. When she turns to him and wonders how he slept, he shoots her a tired look, replying that he didn't get a wink thanks to her. Her lips curl into a smirk. She teasingly wonders if he got turned on. Embarrassed, he stammers out a denial, insisting she's got it all wrong. Chuckling, she quips that he is a guy after all. Later, while wandering through the streets of Hakone, Yudo notices how packed it is and wonders aloud if it's always this crowded. She nods, pointing out that the shrine is a huge tourist draw. Nearby, a couple of guys begin murmuring about Kano, one of them eyeing her with interest, debating whether to approach. Yudo mutters under his breath that she really is popular. She throws him a questioning glance, wondering where that came from. Then lets out a sigh, same pattern every time. People get the wrong idea, become jealous over nothing, and it always ends in hassle. He understands. Popularity has its downsides, and she's had her share of trouble because of it. A moment later, she gestures toward the next highlight, the newly constructed hall at the shrine. Curious, he brings up the main shrine, and she explains it's famous for strengthening bonds between people. He makes a mental note, maybe a wish there could help him get closer to Suzuno. As they approach, he notices how intently Kano is focusing on her prayer, almost like she's pouring everything into it. He wonders silently how many wishes she's stacking up. As the line behind them grows, people begin murmuring, urging them to hurry. He leans toward her, suggesting they move along. She quietly asks for just a moment longer. Watching her, he can't help but pity the poor soul she's in love with. Afterwards, she snaps a quick photo and announces she's posting it. Panic sets in. He urges her not to, insisting there's no way he can explain being in the picture with her. With a sly grin, she wonders what would happen if she claimed he was her boyfriend. He balks. That would only make things worse, especially if Ayato or Suzuno saw it. She then offers a compromise. What if she only posted it online? He flatly refuses. She nods, understanding the risk. If Suzuno misunderstood, it'd be a disaster. And if Ayato saw it, he'd probably murder him. While riding the cable car, she gazes out at the scenery. He, still tense, wonders what she told her family about this trip. Calmly, she mentions she said she was with friends, but her mom already knows she's traveling with a boy. That sounds dangerous to him, but she brushes it off. Her parents aren't the strict type. In fact, she adds with a sly smirk, even if things turned intimate, it wouldn't be a problem. Flustered, he urges her to hold it in. Her smile only widens. You still don't get it, she murmurs. When she says things like that, she means them. Then, wearing that same mischievous look, she starts closing in on him. Kano nudges Suzuno awake, prompting a sleepy greeting in return, urging her to hurry and wash up. Kano moves around the room with practiced ease, laying out clothes, preparing breakfast, and calling out once everything's ready. Suzuno thanks her while grabbing the school bag. Kano hands it over and checks. You packed everything? A nod from Suzuno confirms it, and she heads for the door with a quick goodbye. Watching her leave, Kano reflects that she might be spoiling her sister a bit too much. Just then, Suzuno's voice echoes back from the hallway, calling her name. Kano spins around, startled, wondering what the fuss is about. Suzuno shifts awkwardly and admits she forgot to do her homework. With a tired sigh, Kano mutters that this is absolutely the last time. Suzuno throws her arms around her in a sudden hug. I love you, she whispers. Kano smirks, ruffling her hair. She's way too good at acting all innocent. Back at the trip, she announces she's going to make a move, and Yudo can't believe what just came out of her mouth. As she leans in, her face drawing closer with each passing second, he starts to panic and stammers out a plea for her to stop. Now only inches away, he finds himself frozen, trapped in a moment with the older sister of the girl he actually has feelings for. Despite the chaos in his head, he can't help noticing her scent, soft, clean, distracting. He mentally scolds himself. Get a grip. You like Suzuno, only Suzuno. She whispers his name, her lips nearing his, but just before they touch, she pulls back with a faint grin. Just teasing, she says, watching his reaction. Got you good, didn't I? He lets out an awkward laugh, unsure why part of him feels disappointed. When they eventually arrive back home, Yudo quietly brings up whether they can keep everything that happened between them under wraps. Kano waves it off, brushing his worry aside. He's always overthinking. Besides, she points out, the souvenirs will raise suspicion anyway. That's when he mentions he picked up some decoy gifts just in case. She chuckles and nods, impressed. Then her expression shifts slightly, as if something's just come to mind. I wonder if Suzuno and Ayato's date is over by now, she muses. He freezes. Wait, what? Kano blinks, surprised he didn't know. You didn't hear. They went out today. I just hope they didn't get too carried away. The words hit like a gut punch. A few days later, inside a hotel lounge, Mizuhashi claps Yudo on the back, still energized from the tournament. Today was insane, huh? Kamimura sighs, arms crossed, second place again. Kenji grumbles that first place would have had girls lining up for autographs. Mizuhashi tells him to relax, then shifts the focus. By the way, your brother's insane. Soccer club, and he's good at volleyball. Yudo already senses where this is going and doesn't like it. Kenji adds, if Ayato had been in our class, we'd have crushed the finals. Yudo goes still. Realizing the mood shift, Kenji quickly tries to laugh it off. Mizuhashi jumps in, reminding them Yudo scored some solid points too. Kamimura nods in agreement, but Kenji, under his breath, mutters that Ayato's in a whole different league. That's when Yudo abruptly stands up, muttering that he's stepping out for a bit. Inside the bathroom, he leans against the sink and exhales sharply. No matter how hard he tries, he's constantly reminded that he and Ayato are worlds apart. The more he dwells on it, the smaller he feels. He decides to get some fresh air before returning. While wandering outside, trying to clear his mind, he suddenly spots Ayato with Suzuno. The memory of what Kano said on their trip flashes through his head. They went on a date. Maybe it wasn't a joke. Maybe they really are together. Just ahead, Ayato gently reaches for Suzuno's hand. She looks up at him, smiling softly, thanking him in a voice filled with warmth. That expression, so open, so gentle, she's never shown that side to Yuito. The truth hits him all at once. They're dating. It's real. The realization punches the air from his lungs. His heart sinks. Without a word, he turns and walks away, barely able to process the pain closing in around him. Right then, he bumps into someone. It's Kano-san. She beams up at him, her smile as warm as ever. He stammers, trying to form a sentence, still shaken. She meets his eyes and starts explaining, her tone calm but knowing, almost as if she'd expected to find him there.